driving a Toyota Avalon tan, please stand up. Oh, Jerry! Is your license plate 224753? Bye-bye. Just think of it as a reprieve. Are you driving a Chevy Impala black? Oh! 229. Bye-bye. Are you driving a Dodge truck, silver 250, 2500? Any Dodge truck drivers, silver? Jay O'Brien, temporary tags? Oh, here we go. We have a winner. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you for playing. We have one more new employee to introduce, and Kelly Wilmarth is going to do the honors. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to introduce Kim Sisler, who's going to be familiar to many of you. Kim has been with LCCC for 23 years and has defected to the ACES program from the library. As our new administrative assistant, she started on July 23rd. I have known Kim for the 23 years that she's been here on campus. We did work together in the library as library technicians. And I was very excited when she agreed to apply and that our committee selected her. So. And in the order of how people introduce their other people, I was jotting down a few things. So Kim is a Montana native, but has been in Wyoming for many years. Grew up in Lovell, yeah, and then in North Dakota. Has been in Cheyenne for quite a while. She is an LCCC graduate, a University of Wyoming graduate, and has most of her experience in libraries, working both at the UW Library and then the LCCC Library for 23 years. Some of her hobbies include Celtic music, and she loves men in kilts. So. So thank you, Kim, and everyone.
I don't know if we should give the folks who had to move their cars a chance to get back, or should we let them suffer? Embarrass them considerably when they walk back in the middle of the comments, maybe? We could maybe do that. So why don't we go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone, again. Welcome back, faculty, to the start of a wonderful year. I got to remember to hit record. Got it. It's red. Other duties is a sign there. I'm excited, you know, for my first opportunity to start a full academic year here at LCCC. I'm just tickled to be here with you and really excited for the opportunity and what the start of a new semester means. But before I jump into my formal remarks and get started on the state of the college, I want to introduce a few special guests that we have in the audience with us today. And I think I'll start by our Board of Trustees. First, we have the Board Chairman, Mr. Greg Thomas. Greg, please stand. Trustee Ed Mosier. Trustee Carol Merrill. I know Carol's back there hiding. And Trustee Bill Du Bois. Bill. Oh, and John's, yep, and Trustee John Kaiser. Thank you all for taking the time out of your schedules to come here today. We also have some other special guests. Did Sarah Axelson, did she make it from the university? I know she'll be coming over, Vice President of Student Affairs from the university. Mr. Steve Bamer, the Executive Director of the Wyoming Association of Community College Trustees. Thanks for coming, Steve. Lance Giddings. Lance, did you make it? Thank you for coming from Security First Bank. And Representative Mary Throwen. Mary hasn't made it yet either? Good, we'll get them in. But thank you all for taking the time to join us for this event and to get started. You know, let's see if I can figure out a way to make this work. There we go. It's hard to believe that 7 months have gone by since I first landed at LCCC here back in January. And I just have to say, I cannot thank you enough and the people in the community enough for the reception that you've given to me and to my family. I know you've seen my little girls and my wife up here on campus, and I know sometimes those little girls can be distractive, but the fact that you've opened your doors and your arms to us has really made the transition to LCCC and to Cheyenne just wonderful. And so thank you so much for doing that. I really feel at home here, and I feel like we've got just such great things ahead of us. Speaking of my family, I have to tell you something sort of interesting. The other night I was up late and I was working on my remarks for today, and my 5-year-old Samantha comes in. She was getting ready for bed, and she had on her pretty little princess nightgown with the Disney princesses and her hair in a ponytail, and she came in and she said, "Dad, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm thinking about what I can do to help make LCCC better and put it down into words." She said, "Oh," and I said, "Well, so what do you think? Do you think I can help make LCCC better?" And she looked at me in that 5-year-old going on 30 look and said, "Well, you better not mess up or you're fired." I said, if the pressure wasn't enough, now I got a 5-year-old at home doing that. I said, "Don't run for the Board of Trustees." And I said, and get to bed. Geez, get out of here. So no, it's been a wonderful transition actually coming to LCCC. I knew there would be long days and there would be some challenges and hard work, and I was ready for a lot of that. There were, however, some things that I just didn't anticipate at all. One of those things was that I would have to invest in a completely new wardrobe to live in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So when I came here, I looked like this. And then Frontier Days hit, and I looked like that. All you new folks who came from somewhere else, don't let it happen to you. I'll tell you, I do want to point out that that buckle and that belt have my name on it, and they have ties to LCCC. That buckle came from the Block and Bridle Club. Got a lot of comments on it during Frontier Days, and that belt came from one of our students, Launcey Johnson. So I'm proud of it. We're having a good time with it. We really are, and we're super glad to be here. So getting a little bit more serious, and I'll try to be serious, although it'll be hard after Pete. I thought it might be helpful just to recap some of the things that I've been focusing on and we've been focusing on over the past 7 months. I told you when I came that I wanted to spend considerable time listening and learning and meeting with people on campus. And I hope you believe that I've done that and I've held true to that promise. I've had considerable meetings. I've tried to be approachable, have my office open for years, and I've got to meet and listen to so many of you folks, and it's been wonderful. I feel like every interaction that I've had, I've learned something new about what's happening at LCCC, our programs, the challenges that we face, and that's helped me carry what I believe is our mission, our work internally and also out in the community. But the past 7 months haven't only been about meetings. We've actually been doing some work. And for anybody who is a Jim Collins Good to Great fan, one of the things I like to say I've been really focusing on is trying to get the right people in the right places since we've been here. So there's been considerable work on the executive structure, getting the leadership in place. We've done wonderful work. Thank you, John Sanford and Jody Wepner and others for helping with the reconfiguration of College Council. We're trying to get the right people in the right places to do the work that we know we need to do. Come back in, ladies. We've also been spending considerable time on the plans to expand and improve our facilities at LCCC here. And we'll be talking about that here in a little bit, so I won't go into the details here. And then, of course, just focusing on institutional stability. There's a lot of change at the college, and there's likely to be more change in the future. And each and every one of you need support, need encouragement, need help, and in many ways need to be let loose to do the good things that you need to do. And so we've really been trying, and I've been trying to focus on the places where I can resolve the issues, provide stability, and I'll continue to do that. So let me start my formal State of the College remarks with enrollment. This seems to be the place that everybody likes to focus. It's one of the most common elements of what we measure in higher education in regards to enrollment. And this may be old news to you folks, but I tell you, every time I look at this graph, I get excited because it charts an amazing growth and development of an organization since we opened our doors in the late 60s. Just from 1970 alone, if you look at, we had 900 students. The very top line is the head count. That's our number of students. Over 6,000 students in 2012. That is amazing growth. And then look at just the growth in the past decade here at LCCC. I mean, that is impressive. And I know at times we felt that, but it is wonderful, and we need to encourage that trend. Now, unfortunately, I have to say that our growth is actually starting to decline in certain areas. And in fact, looking at this fall, our enrollment will be slightly down for about the third semester in a row. And when that happens, I always ask myself, what's going on there? What's making that happen? What do we need to focus on? And so one of the ways we do that, as you know, is we look at, well, what's happening at each location or our modalities. So this graph looks at head count by our location. And surprisingly, the place where we're down the most is really in our face-to-face courses here in the Cheyenne campus. And then interestingly, we have quite a big bump in the students enrolled in our online courses, slow and steady growth at the Albany County campus, an uptick in concurrent enrollment, and basically flat enrollment at our outreach sites. When equated to FTE, we see one significant change, and that's with what happens to online enrollment. So you still see the decrease in enrollment here, face-to-face courses on the Cheyenne campus, but look at what happened with the online enrollment. It flattened out. So when we take those students and equate them to full-time equivalents, it flattens out, which suggests to me that we have more students who are shifting or at least taking a portion of their coursework online. It's not enough to have the FTE bump the same way, but more and more students are probably augmenting their schedules with our online offerings, and it's an area we'll want to focus on. But I like to dig deeper into what's happening with our enrollment. And I can't tell you I know the answers about what's happening, but this is a place to start. This shows a snapshot from this fall to last fall, a couple of weeks ago, and what's going on. And I want to point a couple of things out. Our decrease is predominantly in our full-time students, where our part-time students have actually had a slight uptick. We have a decrease in our academic transfer programs, and really the significant decrease in our traditional age students. And there could be many reasons for this. I don't have the answers. One of them that comes to mind is that we have a smaller number of high school graduates. And if we have a smaller number of high school graduates, we're likely to see a smaller number of traditional age students. Those students are typically the ones that attend part-time or full-time, and oftentimes they're starting on their way towards a baccalaureate degree. But there's some things happening here that we need to look at and address, because I believe we can reverse this trend. We are still doing well in terms of enrollment. And I know many of you say, well, maybe tapering off is a good thing as we stabilize as an institution. But I hope we can reverse this trend in the very near future. So let me shift gears a little bit, and let's talk about our finances, the fiscal health of the organization in regards to our funding and our overall spending. One of the great things about Wyoming, one of the wonderful things about Wyoming is Wyoming continues to invest in higher education and continues to invest in its community college. In FY13, this year, coming forward,